Straight Talk 1400 KJFF. We are joined in studio today by a couple of gentlemen that are going to be talking about an upcoming event that might look a little bit different this year compared to what it's been before, but nonetheless, it's still happening, which is great. We're going to be talking with Scott Seek and Andy Held. They're going to talk about the Bottleneck Bridge Ride, which, again, is returning. Welcome in, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
This is a good thing, Andy. You're able to get it scheduled this year. It's going to look a little bit different, but nonetheless, the ride is back. And, of course, it was highly successful last year when you guys had that Saturday of biking all over the county. This year, though, it's going to be different.
A little bit different feel to it, but the good thing is, you know, this is the fifth year of this to promote tourism. The event's presented by the Festus Tourism Commission. And lots of great sponsors. You know, we partnered again with TrailNet. This year, the feel of it's going to be to maintain the safety of the riders and the volunteers and the establishments. It's going to have kind of a do-it-yourself approach where people will come and do it on their own accord. And it's going to be running from August 15th to September 13th. And that way, kind of give people, if they don't have to worry about being in a big crowd. Because I think as its fifth year, it's grown from 350 people year one to over 500 cyclists in year four. So I think, you know, with everything going on, it's still giving people an option to get out, do a healthy activity, stay active, but yet stay safe at the same time.
Yeah, it makes sense. You know, you don't want to have too many people crowded together because, you know, if it's all done on one day, you're going to have tons of bikers that are all going to be pretty close to one another, and you know, you're gathering in the parking lots and things like that right before you go, right as you come back, things like that.
It'll still take to all the locations.
Yeah,
we're
talk about
heading out to Villa Antonio Winery, and then from there heading out to the bridge. The bridge is a great place to see. It's a nice gem of the county, and then heading over to. I guess we'll go over to Wild Sun, LaChance, a few of the others.
Yeah, we had Wild Sun, LaChance. Obviously we start off, and I always go through it in my head. We start off at Main and Mill. You hit Villa Antonio. You go to Wild Sun. You know, the really cool route is the long route, and that takes you out to LaChance, takes you through DeSoto. You see some really great scenery and
some challenging hills.
You know, you get to see all of these amazing wineries on your way out there. And, you know, as one guy said last year, he came up to me and he looked a little flustered, and I thought maybe he had a complaint. And he goes, I got a complaint. It's a lot flatter on the map. And I said, yeah, that is the case. But, you know, it's a really beautiful tour. And one of the things that we are still doing with this, even though it's a do-it-yourself, the routes are still going to be marked on the ground. It's still going to be very individual and family friendly. So routes go from, you know, we have a 33-mile route to the 66 metric 100-kilometer ride. So it's got a lot to offer.
And go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say there's going to be some interaction this year that's going to be a little bit different, but it'll be really nice because we'll be able to, with the virtual side of the ride, we're going to be able to utilize some of the technology to be able to track where they're going. Strava would be one of the apps that we'll be using. And that will allow for the riders to still participate with what we're doing as a group, but also be able to track it against the other riders on the ride as well.
As I think is the Russell House part of that?
The Russell House,
too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, you're visiting a lot of the establishments, you know, that are just you know, outdoor settings and things like that.
Yeah,
know?
and it will be definitely, you know, one of the things that we did this initially was with the JCGA, the Jefferson County Growth Association, which we're both on the board, is to promote tourism for the county. And this is one way that we bring a lot of people down. Historically, last year, 87% of the participants came from outside any zip code in the Jefferson County area. So with that being said, even though we have this do-it-yourself, as Scott was saying, we have these little challenges and things, we're going to be able to take those individual rest stops where people would be and promote them. And we have selfie contests. So, if you're at Wild Sun, you're going to take a selfie with the logo and when you pull into the place. If you're out at LaChance, you're going to find their sign, you're going to find the statues, and you're going to get a selfie with that. And then all those things we'll be able to track at each one of those locations. So, it's going to be still a way to promote the Festus Tourism Commission. That's been, they've been an amazing partner for the last several years. And, again, partnering with TrailNet out of St. Louis, they've been a good partner to help us really know how to do it right.
They have the expertise of putting on these types of rides. So for us, we just have them give us the idea of what we need to do, and we head from there. So it's a good partnership.
Good news, too, is you're giving it about a month in between for the do-it-yourself ride, 15th to September the 13th. So that's nice. You can do it on a Monday afternoon if you so choose, right? Maybe the weather's going to be better on a certain day, and it's going to be better. You might want to choose that date.
Exactly. There's a lot of flexibility with this this year. So, even though it's going to look a little different and have a little bit of a different feel, we still think that it's going to be an attractive event for people to, be able to get out and see the sights, maybe grab a bite to eat, and be able to say, hey, you know what, I did this on my bike, and I can come back on another day and bring a few friends with me, and and still be able to maintain the safety and the distance and things that they need to for the current landscape that we have right now.
When you have a lot of people that come in from the St. Louis area to participate in this, all of a sudden they realize, wow, there are 3 good wineries and 2 nice breweries here in Jefferson County, right in our backyard, not too far. That's what it's all about.
And the other thing that we do too is we also try to provide us all the information we can on the local hotels, because we know that people were coming from, on average distance about 4 hours away for a lot of the things. So we want to make sure that people know, hey, there's hotels right here that come in to be able to stay overnight, come and, get up the next morning, go for a ride, go back in the afternoon, get a bite to eat. So it's we try to give them all the tools that they need to be able to come down and see our county and see our amazing community.
You can play here and then you can stay here, so it's nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's good tourism around the county. We all know this.
Beautiful.
There's a lot of things.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and like you said, and the ride is pretty amazing. If you can do the full length one, I mean, you get to see a lot of cool things.
And you don't have to be fast. I mean, I'm on a bike. I'm not fast, but
neither am I. We talk about each other as being the Clydesdales.
Yeah, there's thoroughbreds and there's Clydesdales, and but it's getting it done, and it's each one of these rides to that point being, with every 10 miles, 12 miles is when you come into contact with another location. So you might start off here in Festus and Main and Mill, but 10 miles, every 10 miles you're going to be hitting one of the establishments to take a break so you can make a day of it. It's not have to be, you have to be going at a certain clip. You can go at a comfortable pace and get it done. And so that's one of the nice things.
Kind of be careful about the alcohol intake if you stop at some of these places too. I mean,
I
there's some good wine at those places. Let me tell you.
I would recommend, buying some while you're there and taking it with you, or being able to say, "Hey, I'm going to come back here when you do it," and just stick with water on the route.
Pack a bag.
Pack a bag.
Pack a bag. Take a bottle home with you. That's the best thing to do. Maybe if somehow you have a little cooler or something like that.
Little cart. The little cart. I can
modify
a kid cart
bike.
to
absolutely.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it, yeah. And you get a lot of people that really are avid bike riders, too. I mean, the people that do marathons and so on and so forth, I mean, they're just big into it. And this is not for people that are just a modest bike, rider. I mean, there are a couple of tracks that aren't that bad, but if you want to do that full thing, you better be a pro.
I think most people just need to look at it this way. It's something we put together for all abilities. So we have people that are literally going at a good clip.
Some amateur possible racers,
You get people that are just fast. Then you get people that maybe they're just getting started and maybe they're going to do it a little slower. But We've had people on recumbent bikes. We've had people on mountain bikes, hybrid bikes, top-of-the-line race bikes and stuff. So, it's built for all abilities, but we are very transparent in the fact that it's not flat.
This is Jefferson County.
Right.
There are hills.
There are hills, and there's a lot of rock.
Yeah. Whenever I'm climbing a hill, one of the things I always think about is, okay, let's just sit back in the chair and just put our heads down and go one pedal at a time. And you know what? You get it done. So, and that's the important part, is being able to get it done, having a good time doing it.
You mentioned this is the fifth annual event. Tell us about how this started.
So, gosh, there's a whole story in how it started a while back. But to kind of simplify it, as Scott and I and a few others were sitting around talking about, what could we do to promote the county and do an event. And then, being a part of the Jefferson County Growth Association as the tourism committee initially on that board, was we wanted an event that would draw people from about. So we just thought, gosh, if we can do this one time and have 100 people show up, we're a success for the first year. And we had 350 people. And having the backing of the Festus Tourism Commission and being able to bring all these people down to Festus. And it's really cool. The first year, we saw the whole back lot behind Main and Mill and Main Street and the library fill.
It was full.
And
then,
amazing. By year 4, we had 500 plus people, and their support people are coming down. Their families are staying at hotels. They're all kind of the epicenter of Festus, and then being able to go out and when you find that 200 plus of those people had been out to DeSoto at La Chance, but they're able to hit all of these wineries and locations along the way. It started off as hey, let's do a bike ride for tourism, and then it ended up saying, well, how can we touch every single one of these establishments? And so
on YouTube, we would watch different videos of these bike rides, just 6-7 people going out bike riding. And we were like, oh, look at that. That's a great location. And then we would be riding and we'd be like, man, this is really beautiful out here in Jefferson County. Why don't we have something like that as well? And we got to talking about it. I was like, how do we get us to do that? And then it kind of fell into, well, we're both on the Jefferson County Growth Association. That's a great organization to start working with. And from there, it just kind of fell into place like it was supposed to be there.
You also have weekly challenges and prizes. Kind of go through some of that stuff a little bit.
So some of those weekly challenges, we have some selfie challenges, like I said, and again, that was just another way that we wanted to be able to promote those locations so people get there. And, so if you roll up to Wild Sun or you roll up to, DeSoto Farmers Market's on the route when you're stopping. So if you pick a Saturday and it's DeSoto Farmers Market's open, go in there, grab a selfie at the farmers market. Something that everybody can do, of every ability, can do the selfie challenge. There's a couple hills that we have challenges on climbing. One of them is Pratt Hill in DeSoto. A little bit of a wall to climb. It's not exactly the easiest, but it's whoever can get from point A to point B the fastest has a chance to win. We have gift cards, and we're going to do gift cards to all these locations that we stop. We're gonna go to each of them, and we're calling them bottle challenges, basically. But we're gonna buy gift certificates, so that way we can draw people back down here again. And we'll mail those out to them. And then the other challenge is Crystal Heights.
Crystal Heights, yeah, long, steady climb, almost about 2 miles, maybe a mile and a half, 2 miles. But it's such a long, steady climb that it gives you a segment of ride that gives you enough of a challenge, but it is very doable in a kind of a fun race.
Sure. Okay.
And some of the other challenges that are involved are like the biggest one is if you complete all 3 routes, the 33, the 41, and the 66. If you can complete those, your name is thrown into a bucket as well. So we're just doing, a little something, and I would imagine we're going to have a couple of other things pop up along the way. But that's kind of where we begin with this, because as Scott and I and our committee has sat around and put this together. It's been a little bit of a trying to figure out what would be fun and kind of a pinch. And I think we've got, with the leadership of TrailNet coming in and how they've done some of their events and modifying ours to this, I think it's going to be a good fit, and we'll have a lot of fun, that people that do it.
What we really wanted to do was at least still have the event, even with all that's going on, and not allow it to go a year without not having something happen. So we were happy that we were able to find this compromise in there.
Well, it's nice you're able to do this, because a lot of events where you have large gatherings and things, not that this is a large gathering, but there's still a lot of people that are kind of mixed together if you would happen to do it all on a Saturday like originally planned. But a lot of events never got off the ground whatsoever. It's just too many people and things like that. So it's good you were able to do this one.
Yeah, like Scott was saying, still to have like a marker on the calendar, a pin dropped, if you will, is very important to us, and I'm glad we're able to do it. And even, some of the things that we're taking into account is in the swag bag, that everybody's going to get a T-shirt, they're going to get coupons. We've made sure that we provide hand sanitizer for everybody, and then as well as a mask for everybody. So that way, if they stop, they have all the stuff. When they get to a rest stop, they have the capability to use the mask. They have hand sanitizer. We want to make sure that all parties are we're accomplishing a safe event and promoting that along the way.
You just may not want to wear the mask when you're actually riding. Might be a
That's
little warm for that.
It can be a little warm,
tough,
and it's a little tough. But yeah, we want to make sure that we have a lot of things.
Although there are some cyclists who like to wear a mask as a way to help them with their respiratory. It's a challenge that they do. So if you want, that's a challenge you can also put in.
It also protects you from getting bugs in your mouth.
That is true. Both of us have eaten a number of bugs. Yeah,
Yes.
Right.
Protein.
Not just the motorcycle riders fall into that problem. Right. Bicyclists can do the same thing. This is great. I'm glad you guys were able to get this thing off the ground and have it happen. It's going to be great. And again, it's running from the 15th of August to September the 13th, so people have a couple of weeks there to choose their time and choose their route, so to speak.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all registration is done online.
Yes.
And packet pickup's going to be at a couple different places. So it's going to be here at Main and Mill, and it'll be at one of the bike shops up north. So if somebody's coming from St. Louis, they'll just have to come into to Jefferson County to like the Trek Bike Store, or even one a little further north to pick up their packets. But you can go to jcgamo.org to be able to find out the information and the links to find out everything about the event and register if you wanted to.
JCGA also had that drawing last week for that 50-50 raffle that was helping both them as well as the area chambers of commerce. And
Yes.
Hats off, raise some good money there.
We had some good participation in that. Very happy with that. I think that's something that, normally with some of the events that help us raise money for the chambers and for the organization, this was something we were like, how do we continue that process and go about it? And so going with virtual raffles, it seemed to be a very successful thing. I think something to think about for the future as well.
Yeah, it was something to help out everybody, because like we all know, nonprofits were kind of excluded from any kind of federal help with COVID, so the chambers of commerce were thrown out the window, unfortunately, and so was the Growth Association.
It was, yeah. So this was a good way to raise some money for those organizations, and it was fun too, because there were some prizes and people were able to participate and be a part of that and for a good cause. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have a very, very generous, supportive community that, I think we all should be proud to be in a community that is this generous and is supportive of one another.
Well, we all know how those monies are raised for those organizations. It's help from businesses and things like that, memberships and so on and so forth. Well, everybody's kind of in a bind right now. A lot of businesses shut down for an amount of time and things like that. So it made sense to come up with something like this to help everybody out. Yeah, I'm glad it worked out as well as it did.
Absolutely.
Saw the winner. The winner is the same woman ended up winning first and second place. How about that? Obviously, she put in multiple tickets.
There you go. Yeah, the more tickets, better chances.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Saw that. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Wow.
I'm not that lucky.
Not too many people are. I hope she went out and bought a lottery ticket soon after finding out. Yeah, hats off to her. Congratulations on that. Yeah, and thanks a lot for coming in and talking about this. Again, the Bottleneck Bridge Ride is coming up on August the 15th, runs to September the 13th. It's going to be spread out over that couple of weeks so that not everybody's all doing it at once. So, promote the area. Get out there, take your pictures at Villa Antonia, at Main and Mill, at LaChance, at Wild Sun, all those places. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Get out and ride. Get out and ride.
Get out and ride.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Thanks a lot for coming in, guys.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Again, that is Andy Held and Scott C. coming in to talk about the 5th Annual Bottleneck Bridge Ride coming in mid-August, running to September the 13th, and talking about it all right here on 1400 KJFF.